So this is the equator right here on your paper. It's the 0 degree line. It cuts across. And so what that means is every point A, point G, point C, and point I, those are all north of the equator. So their latitudes are all going to have a north designation on it. Anything below this line, latitude-wise, is going to be south. So points D, F, and E will all have degrees south on it. A lot of students get confused with this because they're like, but the equator line goes west to east, west to east. But that's not how we're recording it. We're saying this latitude line right here, how many degrees above the equator is it? Where is this latitude line in relation to the equator? It's north of the equator. So when you start putting answers in for A for instance, is 50 degrees north of the equator. So you would be writing 50 degrees north. So it's important that you're writing it in that way. And that's the latitude. We always write latitude first and then we write longitude second. It's like in math when you're doing X and Y coordinates on a graph. It's the same exact idea. So when you look at the longitude of point A, now you have to be thinking to yourself, where is point A in relation to the prime meridian? So one thing that I always go over with the students is this idea that west and east spell we. That's how you can remember where west is and where east is. I know a lot of students in elementary school were also taught the phrase, never eat soggy waffles. And so you use the first letter in that sentence for setting up your compass rose. Never eat soggy waffles. It's something that you might just want to put on your paper when you're working so you don't get yourself mixed up between west and east because it's very easy to do. So when you're looking at longitude lines, the long lines that are going up and down, they are going north and south. They're long lines going up and down, but you're thinking in your mind, how many degrees away from the prime meridian is a point? So if it's anywhere on this side, it's going to have a west longitude, and if it's anywhere on this side, it's going to have an east longitude. So when you start thinking in terms of latitude and longitude, well, you know anything above the equator is north, so this is going to have a north latitude. This is going to have a north latitude. Anything below the equator is going to have a south latitude, and anything below the equator is going to have a south latitude. And again, we always report latitude and longitude, latitude first, like that's the X, and then longitude second. That's like the Y, if you want to think in math terms, like X and Y coordinates. So then we look at the prime meridian and we're like, okay, anything on this side of the prime meridian is west. Anything on this side of the prime meridian is west. Then over here, anything on the east side of the prime meridian is going to be east. So you can see it's like a coordinate system, sort of like what you've learned in math. So the only thing you have to do after that is start looking at the actual degrees when you're putting them in. So point A is right there, and point A is 50 degrees north of the equator, and it also happens to be 50 degrees west of the equator. So that's how you would be reporting the latitude and longitude for those different points. Sometimes I was having students that were not putting any directions on their answers at all, and there's just no way for me to know where that is. If you say 50, I don't know if you're talking about this 50 line right here, or there's another 50 line right here, there's another 50 degree line right here, and there's another 50 degree line down here. I have no idea what you're trying to say. So it's very important that you put the number, the degree sign, and then the direction that is above or below the equator if it's latitude, and then east or west of the prime meridian if it's a longitude line. All right, so that's enough on that. Very, very important. You want